Today around baseball, we celebrate Jackie Robinson Day. It's been 70 years since he broke the color barrier, and this afternoon the Phillies are in D.C. to take on the Nationals, and they bring with them a whole host of fans who are getting a chance to enjoy a little baseball here in our nation's capital. All right, so the Phillies have played 10 games so far, and if you look at the breakdown of the games they led and the games they wound up losing, they are 3-0 when leading after 7. When trailing after the 7th, they're 0-5. They've led in 6 of the 10 games. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with John Kruk. Yes, the starting pitching is not going deep enough. They're averaging 5 1/3 per ball game. Meanwhile, for the Washington Nationals, their starters are averaging over 6 per ball game, and today it'll be Tanner Roark making the start.
Yeah, and Tanner Roark apparently gets a lot of run support in his 2 starts so far this season. But you know, he's a guy at the time, he knows how to pitch. And going up against Jeremy Hellickson, you're going to see 2 guys who are going to try to pitch their way through the team's lineups. Now, he struggled early in the season, or early in his career against the Philadelphia Phillies. Last year, though, he was dominant, and here's how he does it. Great movement on his pitches. See that fastball, he starts at the hip and brings it back over. That breaking ball, he'll break to the back leg of the left-handed hitters. He has total command of his pitches. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. If he's going to get beat today, the Phillies are going to have to swing the bats to beat him.
Well, you mentioned dominant. That's what he did last year against the Phillies. Prior to that, his earned run average against the Phils was just under 7, but the Phillies hit just a $196 against him last season. So maybe it's time for the Phillies to make the adjustment against Tanner Roark. We'll see if they're able to do it here this afternoon in D.C. It will be Jeremy Hellickson on the mound for the Phils, opposed by Roark, both making their 3rd starts this season. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. Find your favorite model today. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, official bank of the Phillies. Visit citizensbank.com. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at ibx.com. Start of game 2 between the Phils and the Nationals. Let's look at the Phils lineup, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Well, it's basically the same lineup as yesterday, with the difference being Andrew Knapp starts at catcher and will bat 7th for the Phillies. Jeremy Hellickson, of course, on the mound, and they will face right-hander Tanner Roark. The 30-year-old is ready to go as Cesar Hernandez digs in, and the first pitch of the day is off the outside corner. So we're underway, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Roark's numbers this year, he has, as John mentioned, gotten a lot of run support. They've scored 20 runs for him in the 2 games so far. On the outside corner, 1-1. That is a pitcher's pitch right there.
It looked like the same pitch as the first one, didn't it?
Sure did.
See the scouting report on Tanner Roark. Average fastball velocity, 92.5.
That one's on the inside part of the plate.
This is how he does it. I don't be surprised if he throws either a backdoor slider or that fastball that starts at the hip of Cesar and breaks over the inside corner.
Yeah, he does have a good 2-seamer. Instead, he goes with, looks like a changeup or a cutter low. It's 2-2.
Works quick.
Cesar 6 for 18 so far against the Nationals this year. He stays alive.
We just have to find a way to string hits together. He will give up hits.
Yeah, so far he's allowed at least a hit per inning pitched. Coupled in with the 2 walks. He's only got 11 innings. We mentioned how the National starters are averaging over 6 innings per outing. He might be the exception. They might be at 6 2/3 if it weren't for his 2. That one is fouled down the left field line. Cesar's hit in 8 consecutive games. He has 12 hits during that time.
Yeah, but if they score that many runs for him, Dusty Baker might go to some guys that are seldom used in their bullpen just to get an inning or 2 in.
Ground ball right side. Ryan Zimmerman has it. What away. All right, John, time now for our Nissan keys to the game.
Well, aggressive with the bats against Tanner Roark. We've kept mentioning he doesn't walk a lot of guys. He does pound the strike zone. You got to be swinging early and swing often. And for Jeremy Hellickson, don't change a thing. Just keep pitching the way you're doing, keeping guys off balance and changing speeds, and hopefully those cramps don't show up in that forearm that he has to leave the game early in.
Howie Kendrick now the batter. Kendrick takes inside. He kind of laughed about it the day after, although he was still frustrated because he had a lead and he had only thrown like 70 pitches in the outing before the cramping occurred. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kendrick. Howie was 1 for 4 in yesterday's game. His 1 was an opposite field double. Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Larry Heel of Zionsville, Pennsylvania. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, then Larry will win $100. Now at McDonald's, an ice cold delicious soft drink is only $1. I'm loving it. Runs the fastball away, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's Steven Strasburg, who yesterday went 7 innings, allowed 5 hits and 2 runs. He walked 2. His team scored a run in the 7th, so that took him off the hook. And they wound up winning it in the 10th inning.
Yeah, very frustrated with the home plate umpire.
Aaron Nola, he was happy with his command yesterday, but he said this is kind of ironic. He said, but I need to go longer than 5 innings. So I felt like my command was there. Little dribbler foul. Current temperature is 68 degrees. They listed as mostly cloudy, which I even saw on the board downstairs, but blue skies right now and sunshine. Three balls, 2 strikes to Kendrick.
So far, the pitch counts, they're working the counts pretty good against Roark, but still need to
get some base runners.
They need a bunch.
Opposite way, a foul ball. Phillies lead the league, and this is sort of a misleading number. With runs in the first inning, they have 17, but they had 12 in one game. Now, there are teams that have been limited this year in the first 10 days of the season with runs. In fact, the Red Sox have not scored a first inning run yet this year. Ninth pitch of the at-bat is a grounder to the hole. Defoe has it. He had to hesitate, but still throws out Howie Kendrick. And 2 outs.
You see Defoe, beautiful backhand, like you said, though he had to pat that glove a couple times and just gets Howie by a half step. If there's someone faster, if he would. Sometimes guys can't do it the other way. They have to pat it in their glove once or twice before they throw. I mean, if that's Cesar, that's a base hit.
Or even the guy that's usually playing shortstop for them, Trey Turner. 0-1 to Odubel Herrera. Odubel is 0 for his last 9. It's kind of interesting. We always say when somebody is in a little bit of a slump, they seem like they're always 0-2. Well, there you go. He's no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, fastball, breaking ball. I mean, you know, at some point Odubel's going to have to.
Roark is not pleased with the home plate umpire, Mike Estabrook.
Now, we talked about Tanner Roark, how quick he works, and we know Odubel's not doing anything quickly once he gets in the box.
Upstairs, yeah, and he wants, you know, the time. You know, he wants to take a time.
Tell you what, that was late.
It was late.
He didn't have to grant timeout right there.
No, Odubel was going through his normal setup, which does take a little time.
Setup or ritual?
I guess ritual.
Yeah, let's go ritual.
Three balls and 2 strikes, so he's gone 3-2 the last 2 hitters. Out toward left field, and under it is Chris Heisey. And a 1-2-3 inning for Tanner Roark. He did use a number of pitches to get through it. On to the bottom of the first. Jeremy Hellickson going to work. Tenth inning. Let's take a look at his starting lineup for today. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. So Defoe starts at shortstop. Rendon, Harper, Murphy, and then Zimmerman. And then the changes for the Nationals. Heisey, Taylor, and Lobaton all getting the start today. All hitless so far in the season. And they will face right-hander Jeremy Hellickson. Hellickson 1-0 with an ERA under 1 at 0.90. Well, he's been good in his first 2 starts. The problem is his first 2 starts have only lasted 5 innings.
Yeah, he needs to get deeper in the game. The bullpen has been got used yesterday, even though we had an off day Thursday. You still can't ask the bullpen to keep coming in and throwing an inning, 2 innings every day. If he can get 7 out of him, keep the game close, even have a lead, hopefully.
Well, Defoe will lead it off. Defoe was 1 for 4 in last night's ball game, or yesterday's ball game, I should say. Playing shortstop for the injured Trey Turner, who looks like he's getting closer to coming back. He took ground balls today and was moving around well with that bad hamstring. And he also took batting practice yesterday. Ground ball right side, softly hit. Cesar hustles it over to first.
Yeah, love that. 2 pitches.
Today's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Angel and Bill are over next to Larry and Scott.
Tell you what, if the Phillies don't start winning, I might go over there. Do some habla a little Espanol.
Yeah. Is that your third language? I know English is your second language.
You know, yesterday it was my first language.
Here's Rendon. Rendon.
I felt like my tongue was swollen.
What happened?
No.
Rendon takes outside, 1-0. Rendon is hitless in 12 at-bats against Jeremy Hellickson. Jeremy is that he is going to be around the strike zone.
Both guys are, I mean, they'll nibble to try to hit the corners. They have to because they can't overpower you, but they do throw strikes.
Breaking ball that misses a bit low, and it's 2-1. Nationals as a team lead the league in batting average at .296, and they're tied for 6th in runs scored. They have scored 52.
Leading the league in hitting.
Tied for 3rd in extra base hits.
And their 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th guy have yet to get a hit.
It's because 1, 2, 3, well, not necessarily today, but
what's Heisey, 0 for 3 and Taylor's 0 for 1 or something?
It's pretty much, it's close to that.
Wieters is pretty much caught every game.
Out toward right field. Saunders, he got a good jump on it. Yeah, there are 2 outs. And now Bryce Harper. He is one of the lefties that's in the lineup today. Some of the others that would normally be in are getting the day off, like Adam Eaton. Obviously, Wieters is a switch hitter. Jason Worth, the right-handed batter, is also off today. Dusty Baker said you might see some of the other guys get a day off tomorrow against Jared Eichhoff. Here's Jason. Harper takes on the outer edge, and it's 0-1.
It wouldn't disappoint me if Dusty gave Harper, Murphy, and Zimmerman the day off tomorrow.
I thought about that. I thought there has to be a time where they give him a day off. Come on, Dusty, give it to him. Like the Phillies, the Nationals have Monday off. They'll hit the road for 3 road series. It's contagious.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
Good changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, and that's the way Hellickson has to pitch. Some say it's pitching backwards, you know, behind in the count. Throw a nice little changeup right there. I'm sure Bryce was looking for something harder. If he wasn't, he had a really bad swing.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Harper. Harper is 3 for 11 lifetime against Hellickson. towards shallow left field. Franco is going out and backpedaling and makes the catch. Well, it turned out to be a little harder play than when it left the bat, but the Nationals are retired in order. So we'll move to the second here in D.C. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Maikel Franco will lead things off. Franco is 1 for 14 so far this year against the Nationals. And a swing and a miss. It's 0-1.
He really pulled off on that
one.
Fastball away, and he was trying to yank it into the seats and left.
216 overall. The ground ball to the hole, backhanded by Defoe, who has time and throws out Franco. Well, that was an even better play than the one against Howie Kendrick.
Yeah, for a young player, really good clock. Franco doesn't run well. See right here with. Went a long way to get to this ball, but look how he sets himself. Still has the patent of the glove. That will come into play with a faster runner at some point, hopefully, in this game. But yeah, he knew what he had. Who was running to first base? Had a nice little internal clock and got Franco by a couple steps.
Just 25 years old is Wilmer Defoe. And now Michael Saunders, who was 2 for 4 yesterday. He was really the only Phillies offense, but for the most part, they didn't have much going on yesterday. They had 6 hits.
Tommy Joseph home run.
Yeah. Phillies struck out 11 times yesterday. That one's back toward the middle. Defoe was shaded that way. God, that's got to be frustrating as a hitter when the fielder is shaded that way.
Yes, it really does stink, but. I think at some point in this game we have to figure out not to hit it to him anymore. He seems to be catching them all.
Well, here's Tommy Joseph's home run yesterday.
That's an elevated fastball by Strasburg that Tommy got on top of. Been waiting for that, haven't they? Well, us too. There was 2 men on.
Yeah, Pete said he's hoping that will spur something on today for Tommy Joseph, who's hitting a .143. Down the right field line, out of play, 2-1. He was not pleased about the offense yesterday, as you can imagine, even though they Did work some counts, but only had the 6 hits. Tied for 13th in the league in hitting at 242. Tommy Joseph lines that one right at Daniel Murphy, who was playing in that same spot. We've played an inning and a half. Quiet offensive day so far for both teams. We head back to yesterday's game. Daniel Murphy in the 10th inning. Just kept slicing away from Howie Kendrick, and Harper was motoring around the bases.
Yeah, great jump. Read the ball off the bat of Murphy. Knew Howie wasn't going to get to it in the air and just keep on going.
And that gave the Nationals a victory in Game 1 of this series. They've evened up the season series now, 2 wins apiece.
I'm not sure the third base coach could have stopped him if he wanted to.
He was motoring. I tell you, I don't know why I was that surprised, but when I looked up and saw that he was 3 or 4 feet away from third, but he had a pretty good view of where the ball was going. Murphy lines it out toward right. Saunders is there. Speaking of Murphys, they're all over the ballpark today. Let's head to our Murphy, Greg Murphy.
Hey, yes, we are, and it's time now for your unlimited baseball break presented by T-Mobile. And first at Dodger Stadium tonight, guys, when the Dodgers and D-backs get together on the day we celebrate the legacy of Jackie Robinson. His team, the Los Angeles Dodgers, well, the Dodgers, his team, will unveil a statue in his honor outside of Dodger Stadium. It is the first statue erected at Dodger Stadium ever, and it certainly is fitting and just and well-deserved for Jackie Robinson. That'll happen before the game today. And baseball fans, well, you'll like this. A battle of 2 former Cy Young Award winners, Corey Kluber and Justin Verlander, going at it today as the Indians and Tigers go at it. And, well, Kluber's going to have to be careful with Miguel Cabrera. He's starting to heat up, 3 for 5 with 2 home runs in his last 2 games. Had a little bit of a shouting match with Terry Francona yesterday. That kind of maybe got him riled up. He had a home run yesterday. But that is a good baseball matchup if you're a baseball fan later on today, guys.
Yeah, I think if you're a fan, you hope it didn't turn out the way the Kershaw-Greinke matchup turned out last night, with dominated by Kershaw, 8 1/3. Greinke got hit around a little bit.
Greinke hasn't been good since he's left the Dodgers, has he?
No. And that statue of Jackie Robinson, it's not going to be of him hitting. It's going to be of him sliding and basically stealing home. That's the way they put it together.
I've had so many conversations with Yogi Berra, and to the day the great Yogi Berra passed away, he absolutely said there's no way he got to the plate.
Well, I thought about that. I said, you know, wouldn't it be appropriate if the Berra family would allow Yogi to be part of that statue? 2-2 to Zimmerman. And Zimmerman sends one to right field. That's fairly deep. Saunders has room, though. And he makes the catch. 2 outs. And Chris Heisey's coming up. Well, Jackie Robinson made his debut 70 years ago today. Back in 2009, it's when all of Major League Baseball's players started wearing the number 42. It was an idea that was originally initiated by Mike Cameron and Ken Griffey Jr., both of whom asked then Commissioner Bud Selig if they could wear the number 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson. And it's evolved into every player wearing the number 42 on this day, and the Phillies will do it when they return home and honor the memory of Jackie. His lovely wife Rachel, who I've had a chance to meet a number of times, 94 years old, will be out at Dodger Stadium tonight for the unveiling of that statue. Down the right field line, 1 ball, 1 strike to Heisey.
You just, you know, I've had a lot of conversations with Buck O'Neil, the late Buck O'Neil. You know, played, managed, coached in the Negro Leagues, and if you ever met one of the nicest gentlemen you'll ever meet in baseball, and he would tell me stories about what Jackie Robinson told them, what he was going through. You know, how he had to keep his mouth shut. You know, he was basically hand-picked by Branch Rickey to, okay, this is the guy that's right for this moment, and he really was.
Broken back ground ball left side. Franco gobbles it up and then throws out Heisey. Peanut gallery behind him was helping him along. 6 up, 6 down for Hellickson. We move to the 3rd. Is the 70th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. His first year with the Brooklyn Dodgers, he was the Rookie of the Year, and he wound up hitting .297. He stole 29 bases that year. He became a lifetime .311 hitter in 10 seasons with the Dodgers organization. Was eventually sold off to the Giants and would not go, and retired as a Dodger. Today, of course, around baseball, we realize the memory of Jackie Robinson. The jerseys the players are wearing, one of these jerseys will be signed for each organization and then auctioned off at a later date, and the proceeds will go to the Jackie Robinson Foundation, which has done so much goodwill around the country. As Andrew Knapp leads things off. Knapp did not play yesterday.
Basically, last night was a night game, even though it started at 4 in the afternoon. But you got to give Cameron Rupp a day off. Another day game tomorrow.
Little roller to the first base, and that stays fair. 1 out. And Freddie Galvis will be the hitter. I think even tomorrow you'll see some changes to the Phillies lineup, whether it be Nava playing, Aaron Altair playing. Pete has said that he has to get those guys into games just to kind of keep them sharp and maybe spur on the offense.
Yeah, that's more important. I mean, you got some candidates who can sit.
Freddie might be one of those candidates. He's 0 for his last 13. He's had 3 multi-hit games this year. Freddie has, but hitless in his last 3. 2-0.
I wonder if the 2 home runs early started getting him out of that nice, easy, short swing he had working.
Which, as we've watched over the years, that does happen with Freddie. I guess you could say it happens with any young hitter. Two and two, breaking ball.
It's a hard thing to do as a young player, is to hit a couple home runs. All of a sudden now, and Freddie does have power. I'm not talking about just Freddie, but a lot of guys. Now all of a sudden you think, well, shoot, I'm a power hitter now.
He waves at the 2-strike pitch. First strikeout for Roark. And it's time now for our Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. John, what 2 players hold the Nationals Expos franchise record for the most consecutive games reaching pace with 46? Talking Expos and Nationals. Which 2 players? We'll reveal that answer a little later on.
Are any of them playing today?
No.
Are any of them on the roster?
Yes. One of them is on the roster.
I know one.
And I will say that the other one is a member of the Montreal Expos family. So we get a miss by Hellickson. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I will tell you that it's not Andre Dawson. He was before Andre Dawson's time.
Before Andre.
You got to dig deep on this one. For some time, this gentleman did what you are doing right now in the television booth. Outside, 2 and 2. Not with the Phillies organization.
Kind of silly, wouldn't it?
Just let you know.
The one wheels.
It's not wheels. Swing and a miss. Hellickson strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Roark. 9 up, 9 down. We'll move to the bottom of the 3rd. Scoreless game here in D.C. Your local Ford store. Check out every new Ford car, truck, and SUV crossover at buyfordnow.com today. Scoreless game as we move to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Bottom 3rd of the order up for the Nationals. And in Washington, they just opened recently the National Museum of African American Culture. It is a beautiful building as they continue to add one monument, one building each and every year here in the city of D.C. It is right near the mall, near the Washington Monument. As Jeremy Hellickson made the last out of the top of the third, so he's loosening up now. We'll face Michael Taylor as we start things off. We did not see Taylor when the Nationals were in Philadelphia because he was down in the minor leagues. He was sent out, but was able to come back early because of an injury. Three home runs against the Phillies. You got to be careful with him on the first pitch. And I think the Phillies understand that because he does go after it often.
He's got some power.
And they throw it inside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
So he got called up when Turner got hurt?
Eventually, yep.
So Turner comes back.
Could be Taylor that goes back out.
This is one of those days where he might be really over aggressive trying to prove that he belongs.
Grounded foul.
See if the veteran Hellickson can take advantage of that.
Dusty Baker has liked Taylor. He wasn't the prototypical leadoff hitter, even though Dusty had him leading off a lot last year. And I say that because he doesn't generally run deep counts. We're trying to figure out center field. It's 2 balls and 1 strike to him. It's sharply to shortstop, backhanded by Galvis. 1 away. Phillies fans never miss a CSN game with the NBC Sports app. Stream every hit, pitch, and run on CSNPhilly.com and the NBC Sports app all season long. One out now for Jose Lobaton. Lobaton backing up Matt Wieters. Just 1 game so far. He was 0 for 3 in that game. It was against the Phillies last week.
How many teams you think have had that go with 2 catchers on their 25 man that both are switch hitters?
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting point. Can't be that many. But it is useful.
Yeah, no kidding. You never have a mismatch.
Miss 1-2. A little late on that 91 mile an hour or 89 mile an hour slider. Cutter.
Odd looking at the attire that Lobaton has on. He has the arm sleeve on his non-throwing hand arm, and usually the wristband that you put on your glove hand to in case ball hits in the dirt, it protects your arm. Maybe he switches it back over when he comes to catch. I don't know. Like, wouldn't you think that arm sleeve would be on his throwing hand?
No question.
Or arm. Kids these days.
I wonder if there's when he swings, if that arm bothers him. Would that happen?
I've never.
Well, you were
but if anything, it might be your bottom hand arm. That's sometimes you can get it extended.
Opposite way, foul. It remains 3-2. Cesar has it on his other arm. What is going on today?
confusion.
Ball four. First base runner of the afternoon for either team. A one-out walk for Lobaton. Tanner Roark is going to be the hitter.
And Lobaton, not great speed. Tanner Roark with only one out. You know he's bunting. Bust in there and try to see if you can't turn two.
Taking a peek over at Bob Henley, the third base coach. And he hits it the opposite way, a base hit. Lobaton will stop at second. That's the first hit of the day. Well, the corners were pinching in. Even if they were back, they weren't going to get that ball.
No, perfectly placed by Tanner Roark. Let Tommy Joseph bust in here. Roark takes a full swing. Your Cesar's playing short. Was that a cutter?
May have been. He threw one earlier. And now the top of the order for Defoe.
One pitch away from getting out of this inning. That's all you got to remember.
And Hellickson is a ground ball pitcher. It's no balls and one strike. He throws the changeup to Defoe.
Beautiful pitch. Defoe's up there looking, okay, first and second. I can drive in a run right here. Jeremy throws him that changeup and way out in front of him.
Ground ball toward first, and it's a foul ball. 0-2.
Might seem to hit that same ground ball he hit to Cesar's first at bat. Nice little 4.63. Let's go in.
And a strike three calls. First strikeout for Jeremy Hellickson. I'm not sure if that was the location Jeremy wanted. It was up somewhat, but I think he fooled Defoe on what style pitch he was throwing.
See, Knapp wanted that ball down and away, and I think Defoe just gave up on it. Probably thought, all right, that's a breaking ball. It's high. No problem, and it came down a little bit, but it caught the strike zone.
CSN Pitchcast brought to you by Mazda. Had it a little high, but home plate umpire Mike Esterbrook.
Close enough. We need a break here and there, don't we?
Here's Rendon, and Rendon cracks it foul, and it's 0-1.
Was it 2-3 years ago he was finished in the top 5 in MVP?
Rendon.
Yeah.
Yep. He was carrying the Nationals for a good part of that. Outside. Rendon back 2014 scored 111 runs. He had 287 at 21 home runs. And he was 5th in the MVP voting. Won the Silver Slugger.
That Silver Slugger could get retired for a while with Nolan Arenado at third base.
Seriously, that's through the hole on the left side of base hit. Lobaton's around third. He's heading home, and he will score. The Nationals take a 1-0 lead. RBI single for Rendon. It's his 3rd hit in the last 2 ball games. And Bryce Harper will be the batter.
The first pitch he threw him, he hooked one down the left field line, and that's just a hanging breaking ball. You know, Rondon has that ability to hit the ball the other way, so he doesn't really pull off that ball. Get you through the hole, and no chance for Howie to throw out Lobaton.
Yeah, Howie is playing fairly deep out in left field. The outfielders do play deep, as they are now. With Bryce Harper up, he popped out to shallow left field his first time up. 2 outs, runners on first and second. And Harper takes outside. That's how they started out the last at bat for him.
With the lead that Tanner Roark's getting on second, and the secondary lead he's getting, better be really fast if Bryce hits a hard hit ball into the outfield. I mean, Cesar's out in shallow right, Freddie's in shallow center, and he's getting a 3-step lead off the second.
First base, diving stop, Tommy Joseph. Hellickson's there to cover. 3-1 on the putout. A run does score on the single by Anthony Rendon. In fact, in the inning, 2 hits for the Nationals. We'll move to the 4th. The Phils trail it 1-0. Quality in their Jet Intelligent Toner cartridges print up to 1/3 more pages. Get yours from who but WB Mason today and experience the difference. Nobody beats WB on HP. A day at the ballpark where you get a chance to enjoy all the sights and sounds. Looks like he's enjoying a burger out there. Burger and a beer. Pretty good combination.
What if the Phillies don't start playing better? I might have that.
More of one than the other?
Yeah, I like burgers.
Well, we go to the top of the order. Here's Cesar Hernandez. Sunday, April 23rd, when the Phillies take on the Atlanta Braves, it's the Fanatic's birthday, brought to you by Citizens Bank. Join the Fanatic, all his friends, and the Galapagos gang for a fun and festive birthday celebration. And who will be there but flipping out the Extreme Trampoline team. Right there, they're entertaining the folks at the Milwaukee Bucks game. Show starts at 1 p.m.
Got to get Murph on that thing.
Murph, you on trampoline when you were younger? Cesar bunts up the third base line. That's going to be a base hit. And the first of the day.
When you say younger, do you mean like last week?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Well, you were younger.
Yeah.
Well, John wants you to show that off on the Fanatic's birthday.
I can do that for John.
Murph, yesterday we were talking. You think you could still play baseball?
No, I never said that.
But you can't jump on a trampoline?
Well, no, I think I can jump on a trampoline. I certainly do not believe I can play baseball anymore. Although I am shagging on Tuesday.
Oh, are you at Citi Field?
We got
yeah.
We got to film that.
What's that going to be part of?
Batting practice.
A bunt toward the left side. Roark tried to barehand and bobbled it, and everybody's safe. And that'll put runners on first and second.
Just talking about me on the field has got them rattled. This is great.
Tell you what, we haven't got one past the pitcher. We got first and second. It's a pretty nice little rally we got going. Yeah, this ball, Tanner had plenty of time to get this with his glove, and I don't understand why he tried to barehand it.
Do you think he was thinking about going to second? That's why he barehanded?
No. No, but we'll take it.
They have scored a base hit. That's right.
Wow.
So runners on first and second. Here's Odubel. But doing it again.
Why not?
Corners are back a little bit.
Twice as nice, but 3 times a party, isn't it?
The fact that Murph is going to be shagging is in Tanner Roark's head.
Yeah, he's probably got bad visuals working.
1 ball and no strikes.
Where are you going to be, Murph? Left, right, center?
Do your part. Oh, yeah. Anywhere. Anywhere the balls are flying, I'm going to go shag them.
You're going to do your part,
I'll run them
right?
down. You guys are more than welcome to join me.
That's okay. We know our limitations.
Apparently, I do not.
No, you don't. Ground ball past Rendon down the left field line. Cesar will score. Kendrick to third. And Odubel will go to second base with an RBI double. It's a 1-1 game.
Roark makes a good pitch. I mean, that ball's down in the very bottom corner, outside corner of the strike zone, and he just hits it past the diving Rendon. And I mean, that ball slowed up a lot to allow Kendrick to go to third and Odubel to get a double on that.
Odubel's third double of the year, and still nobody out.
Well, we talked about you got to string hits together. Good at bat.
Bouncer to the right side. It'll get a run in and a run over. An RBI for Maikel Franco. And it's a 2-1 ball game.
Tell you what, all this has happened pretty quick. What, 5 pitches?
Well,
Cesar bunted to first. Howie bunted to first. Odubel took a pitch and hit a double down the line, and Franco swings at the first pitch. 5 pitches, we scored a run. 2 runs, we still got a guy on third.
And now the 5th batter of the inning, Michael Saunders, will come up.
And they got the infield in early.
That surprise you?
Well, Dusty plays hunches, and his hunches that he'll run something away. And that hit him.
Close.
Saunders might, because they do pitch him in, and maybe they don't want a jam shot little roller to second base to score another run.
No balls and 1 strike to Saunders. Popped him up. Out towards shortstop. Defoe says he has it. And he makes the catch. And 2 outs. And it's left to Tommy Joseph to try to get that third run home. He lined out sharply to Daniel Murphy, right where Murphy is standing right now. Inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
You talk about court awareness a lot. You see who was covering third because Defoe and Rendon went after the pop-up, and Tanner Roark went back up home in case there was a throw. Daniel Murphy.
Oh, was he really?
Sprinted over there to keep Odubel from roaming off the base too far.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Watch this ball go up. Now watch Murphy all of a sudden come flying into your screen right there because Odubel was a long way off. He got that seed out of there.
Broken back ground ball to third. And Tommy Joseph is retired. Phillies do get 2 runs, though. They start the inning with 3 consecutive hits, 2 bunts, and then a double. We'll move to the bottom of the 4th, 2-1 Phils. Toyota, let's go places. And by WB Mason. Who bought WB Mason for fast free delivery? Nobody does it better. Well, the president's race was slow to get going. Abe had a large lead.
Abe almost ran out of steam.
It looked like he was running out of steam about 20 feet into the race. But he hangs on and wins for the 5th time this year.
I mean, when you're lugging around a head that big, man, I mean, just lean forward, let the momentum take you the rest of the way home.
With a nice hefty breeze, you'd have no issues. Daniel Murphy will lead it off for the Nationals. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. Murphy swung at the first pitch his first time up. He flied out to right field. He's hit it 10 consecutive games, so he's 3rd in Major League Baseball in hitting at .444 coming in. He's 2nd in doubles. Mitch Moreland of the Red Sox leads the way in Major League Baseball with 8 doubles.
There's 2 guys at this point in the season hitting better than him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zach Cozart is hitting .467. And Avisail Garcia from the White Sox hitting .457. Out of play. He sprays it foul. It stays alive 2-2. Yesterday was his first walk-off hit since 2012.
Wow.
I thought he might have been able to mix one in.
Unless the other team decides to walk him.
The way he's hit the last couple of seasons, that may not be a bad idea.
He doesn't walk a lot. He doesn't strike out a lot either. That looked yesterday. 1 walk going into yesterday, 4 strikeouts.
Put it in play.
You always got a chance if you do.
Drive caught by Tommy Joseph. 1 out here in the 4th inning. Well, if you have a group of 25 or more, take advantage of some of the opportunities at Citizens Bank Park by going to Phillies.com/group tickets. You have special fundraising opportunities and a great way to raise funds and awareness. Take advantage of discounts, theme nights, and a handful of party areas. To the ballpark now. A couple of good crowds in a row here. First pitch is taken for a ball.
Not a very lively crowd, unless we're just up so high we can't hear what they're saying or doing.
No, it's a little more subdued than what we would be used to in Philadelphia. But larger in number at this point, the way the Nationals have been playing. They're all gearing up for the Caps game tonight. A little hockey tonight. Caps play the Maple Leafs tonight, game 2. And then the Wizards start the playoffs tomorrow. There's a lot going on here in DC. There's a looper out towards shallow left field. Kendrick comes running in, dives, and makes the catch. And there are 2 outs here in the 4th inning. I didn't think he read that right off the bat, and he recovered nicely.
Yeah, how he plays it very deep left field anyway, with, of course, with Ryan Zimmerman with great power. You can understand that, but I mean, you see the dive, the concentration, looked it all the way in the glove, but yeah, it looked like he took a quick step back, and you do that a lot, you know, with the guy that has the power of Ryan Zimmerman, and that closing speed gets to it. Huge, you get this out right here, Heisey, and get the shutdown inning, and let our offense try to go to work.
1 ball and no strikes to Heisey. Heisey, .270 lifetime hitter against the Phillies with 2 home runs. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Easter egg hunt tomorrow.
Big Easter egg hunt tomorrow. You going to partake?
No. My memory's gone so bad I can hide my own.
There's a liner down the left field line. Foul. It's 1-2. 1-2. So what you're saying is if we want to have some fun with you, we should just hide things?
No, I probably won't remember to look for him.
We'd have to spur you on. Hey, John, where's your pen?
Yeah.
What? Give you your phone? No. What did I do with it? Another 1-line foul.
Well, he's got that spot down.
Throw it a little farther away, maybe he won't get to it.
We'll hit a ground ball to Franco.
Missed low, and it's 2-2. get him to go after a changeup. He did. He got a piece of it.
This is a guy that it's a pretty good pitch. I mean, he's a little elevated, but Heisey's a guy with really good power. A lot of at-bats he might have.
Calls it well out towards center field. Herrera, though, looks like he's got a beat on it and makes the catch a step to the track. So Hellickson has 3 1-2-3 innings, but he was helped out by his defense to begin this inning. Howie Kendrick, a fantastic play to start the 4th. Fantastic new offer for all high school, college, and graduate students. You get a $15 ticket plus the opportunity to spend up to $12 at the concession stands. Go to Phillies.com/studentsteal to order or show your student ID at Citizens Bank Park ticket window on game days. Andrew Knapp swings at the first pitch from Tanner Roark, and he hits it out toward left. And Chris Heisey's there to track it down. Howie Kendrick congratulated by his teammates, but then had a chat with Scott Sheridan, the Phillies athletic trainer. He was pointing toward his right hip after making that diving stab. So they exited for a moment just to get it checked out a little bit. Really was a fantastic play as he was able to react and track it down. Freddie Galvis struck out his first time up. 1 ball, no strikes to Galvis.
I think it was his hip.
I don't know.
For some reason, I think it was his ribs.
You think it was his ribs?
Yeah, because he kept lifting his arm like a motion, and that, like, if your hip hurts, it doesn't hurt you to raise your arm.
No.
Well, us it does. I mean, look at it.
I mean, he landed pretty hard on the grass, but it looks like he's backing okay. 2-0 pitch to Galvis. It's at the knees, 2-1. Freddie lines it off Roark, picked up by Rendon. And then Roark becomes a traffic cop. 1-5-3 on the putout. The ball hit sharply by Galvis. And now Jeremy Hellickson is coming up. They'll check him out, though. The athletic trainer is coming out. Mike Maddox and Dusty Baker as well.
He must really be well liked. They're all going out there.
It looked like he was okay because he pointed to Rendon to make sure he threw it over to first.
It looked like it hit him in the left forearm.
Left forearm being his non-pitching forearm. He's kind of shaking it off there. I think he just said, "I'm fine. I want to go."
I've had the opportunities to meet him a few times, and I'm sure he said something funny right there.
Well, with all the issues they've had with some of their starting pitchers over the years, he has been a huge piece to their success. I mean, last year he won 16 games, but back in 14, that was the year when he won 15 games at an ERA of 2.85. And then the following year, the following offseason, they signed Max Scherzer, and he was relegated back to being in the bullpen.
I asked him about that. If he was upset about it, his answer was perfect. I still have a major league uniform on, don't I? So, well, there you go.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
And he waited, bided his time, and now he's back in the rotation, and more than likely going to stay there for a while, I would imagine.
Fastball, and it's 1-2. Hellickson fouls that one at the plate.
That's the one he really hasn't had today. That sharp, like we showed in the opening of the Open, you know, that sharp breaking ball that breaks down to the back foot of the left-hand hitters.
No, and that's one of his better out pitches too. Staying alive, fouls it back again.
Making him work.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Hellickson. Three and 2.
This is like Ricky Henderson-esque right here. Dykstra-esque.
Opposite way. Scooped on one hop by Zimmerman. So 9 pitches, and they finally retire Jeremy Hellickson on the sharp one hopper to Ryan Zimmerman. 4.5 in the books. Fills up by 1. Minor league report. We'll take a peek on what happened yesterday for the Phils minor leaguers. Lehigh Valley lost to Pawtucket 6-1. Alfaro had a triple and a run scored. Scott Kingery, a 3-run home run in yesterday's game. He's also having a big day today for the Reading Fightins. Clearwater defeated Palm Beach 6-2. Cole Irwin the win, and Lakewood defeated Greensboro 9-0. Daniel Brito had 3 RBIs and 3 runs scored. Folks doing a little throwback Iron Pigs jersey. It's a 2-1 game as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Hellickson will face Michael Taylor, Jose Lobaton, and Tanner Roark. So far, so good for Jeremy. He's allowed 1 run on 2 base hits. He's retired the side in order on 3 different occasions. And Michael Taylor, who grounded out to shortstop his first time up, will be the batter. Pitch is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, everything looks okay for Jeremy right now as far as the cramping goes. Even the vendors are wearing the number 42 today. In the World Baseball Classic this year, Willie Randolph wore number 42 for Team USA. It was a special request that he made. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Good thing about this game so far for Jeremy Hellickson, no cramps and no triples.
Right.
Seem to be his.
Well, that long at bat. But don't worry now. I tuckered him out a little bit. 2-0 pitch to Taylor. Off speed pitch, 2-1. Well, he's got that going. He throws it well. It's actually 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Watch that on that swing right there. That top hand of Michael Taylor just rolls over. Tells you he doesn't keep the bat through this hitting zone very long.
Fly ball left center field. Odubel, Herrera, and Kendrick are out there, and Odubel makes the call on the catch. And 1 away. That'll bring Jose Lobaton to the plate. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
Well, Tom, as you guys can attest to, the baseball world can be a very small world sometimes, and that is certainly the case with some connections between the Nationals organization and the Phillies organization. One of those connections is the young man playing catcher for the Phils today, Andrew Knapp, obviously making just his 3rd start as a Philly. But I was talking to him yesterday, and he has a connection with the Washington Nationals, and happens to be their hitting coach, Rick Schu, who many Phillies fans may remember. Rick Schu and his family grew up not too far from where Andrew Knapp grew up in California. In fact, as Saunders tracks that one down at the warning track, in fact, Rick Schu and Mike Knapp, who's Andrew's father, played in the Angels system together, in the minor league system, and they actually roomed together in a major league camp many, many years ago. Well, the 2 families have remained friends. Rick Schu has a son named Jake, who is about Andrew's age, so they used to play together, played against one another in baseball. And there was a time, Andrew said, that he was in his life where everything his dad Mike was trying to tell him about baseball, well, he kind of just turned his ears off and said, you know what, Dad, I know better than you, as some teenagers will do, most teenagers will do. Well, Jake was also in the same situation with his dad, so Andrew said that at some point the 2 fathers got together and said, look, I'll help your son for a while, you help my son for a while, and then, you know, at some point perhaps they'll come back to us. And so that's what happened. He worked with Rick Schu for a while, did Andrew, and Jake worked with Mike, and well, you know, both turned out to be pretty accomplished players. And here's Andrew Knapp playing in the big leagues right now. I asked Rick Shue what he thought when he heard that Knapp had made the opening day roster for the Phillies, and he said he could not have been happier for both Andrew, but also for his father, Mike, who he knows very well because he knows how much it meant to him. So just a great story all the way around, guys.
Yeah, big time. Andrew also said that, he went to Cal. Of course, Dusty Baker's son is going to Cal next year, so they got a chance to get together before the game. Rick Shue played for the Phils on 2 different occasions. He's done a nice job with this Nationals team.
He's got some tools to work with as far as offensively goes,
including his pitcher,
Tanner Roark, who halfway to the cycle already. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he doesn't get it.
You don't think so?
No.
You think it's gonna be the triple that's gonna throw him off?
Probably. That'll be it. Yeah.
Here's Defoe, who was 0 for 2, ground out and a strikeout. 0-1. Murph's right, though. Sometimes the teenagers don't always listen to their pops. Here's Roark's double.
Down and away. Pitch stayed in the center of the plate. Actually, in the middle half of the plate. Middle end. Aaron Hellickson wasn't real pleased with it, was he?
Nope. But as long as Cesar can make this throw, he'll get out of it, and he does. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left in scoring position. We have played 5 in D.C. Phillies hanging to a 1-run lead. Of the week were ready for the bright lights on the first home night game of the season. The Phillies stepped to the plate in the first inning against the Nationals and were more than ready. 36+ minutes, 68 pitches, 12 runs, 9 hits, 2 walks, and 2 sac flies later. The home team posted a franchise record for first inning runs. They passed the baton in a total team effort, delivering a 17-3 win. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, the Phillies hope that they can get some of that same offense together here as they lead it 2-1 over the Nationals. It's been kind of a quiet run. The Phillies have lost 4 consecutive games, and Pete Mackanin after the game yesterday was asked, well, what do you think the reason is? And he said, not enough offense. I mean, there's other reasons too. The starting pitching isn't going deep enough into games. There are a handful of guys in the bullpen that have 0 ERAs, but then there are others that have very high earned run averages.
It's a combo platter. But if they would score some more runs, your pitcher can go deep in the game. When you're put in a situation in the 5th, 6th inning, or 6th inning, you have to pinch hit for your pitcher if he's coming up. You don't have a choice. They don't have. Besides a couple games this year, there haven't had many opportunities to drive in runs, so you got to take them when you have that chance.
There's Cesar Hernandez to lead it off, and he's a little out front of that first pitch changeup from Roark.
It's not like they're stringing together 2 hits an inning, and you can pick your spots where you can pinch hit.
2. In fact, you look at yesterday, the Phillies' loss. They did not have an inning where they had back-to-back hits. They did have innings where they had 2 hits. Well, just 1. but back-to-back hits.
Yeah, that ain't going to score you many.
0-2 to Cesar. He takes low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Roark now 30 years old. He was a 25th round selection by the Texas Rangers and then acquired by the Nationals.
He's not your prototypical, 6'4", lean, straight over the top, 95-mile-an-hour guy.
But his advantage is that he is around the strike zone, isn't it? That he can command those pitches.
Yeah, he knows how to pitch, and he's the type of guy that is going to throw some balls to try to get you to chase, and so that's why if you don't have that, that old number 1 in the arsenal, that you feel like you can go to at any time and throw it by someone, and he has to pitch, and he will have high pitch counts. He's trying to stay out of the middle of the plate.
1 ball and 1 strike. Well, the Nationals come into this game a half game behind the Mets in the division in the very early going. Mets will be in Miami a little later on tonight. 1-2 to Kendrick. How about the Blue Jays? What's going on with them? I mean, they're playing right now as we speak, but they are 1-9 to start the year. I mean, there are some surprises around baseball, but that has to be probably the biggest surprise.
Well, I think they miss Encarnacion a lot in the middle of that lineup, and now Josh Donaldson looks like he's going to be out for a while.
They're playing the Orioles right now. That game's in the bottom of the 5th. It is scoreless. There was a stat rolling around today that no team that has begun a season with 1 win in its first 10 games has ever made the postseason in baseball.
Yeah, but that's a lot of that pre-wild card.
That's exactly right. Yeah, the fact that there are 2 wild card teams in each division or each league probably opens the door for them to maybe be the first team that does it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what John Gibbons wants to be the first of. This is him alive.
With a foul ball by Kendrick into the second deck. Yeah, he just signed his extension.
Good move.
I hope he signed it.
Yeah, good move. You think with Marcus Stroman, Aaron Sanchez.
To the left side, charging his Defoe, and once again he's able to throw out Kelly Kendrick. He made a nice play on Kendrick going back in the first inning. This time he comes forward and makes a nice play. Kendrick is kind of slowly lingering around the first base bag. Pete's debating on whether he wants to challenge this or not. Greg Gibson is the first base umpire.
No challenge.
Actually talked to Greg earlier today for about 10 minutes or so. We were talking about the play yesterday as we watched the replay of this one. That was close.
It was really.
His foot's about to get on the bag there. Boy, exactly the same time.
But was there enough to overturn it? That's the problem. Like
the new rule,
the ball has to be in the back of the glove before it's considered a catch by the first baseman. So how do you know?
How do you know? Particularly with let's say a shot like that. Even with one on the front side. Anyway, Gibson was the umpire yesterday on that play where Tommy Joseph was called out for going, as we find out now, out of the baseline. Base path, I should say. As Odubel was behind 1 and 2. We saw the replay where Murphy's glove was on the body, but the ball was in the other hands. And
so how was he out of the baseline?
Well,
because he went out of the baseline after he called him out.
Right. So he asked me about that too, and I said I didn't think he was. He said, but it was under in his eyes he was out of the baseline. You know, so it's up to the umpires to do it, to make that call. Out to left field, and the catch is made. Because we were wondering whether Pete should have challenged her or not. He said no. He goes, I was a little under the weather yesterday, and I have to admit I was somewhat foggy, and I probably should have signaled a little better that he was out of the base path. Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Delbow Honda dealer or visit DelbowHondaDealers.com. And by McDonald's. Now at McDonald's, an ice cold delicious soft drink is only $1. I'm loving it. Phillies lead it 2-1 as we move to the bottom half of the 6th inning here at Nationals Park. There's that play from yesterday we were talking about. Now you have 3 feet to go either way once you establish the base path.
I didn't see where he was out of the baseline.
The only thing I can think of is that when he began his run from first base, and I don't know how Greg Gibson would have seen this, but that he started to wander at that point. Again, it's up to the discretion of the umpire.
So the runner's only alternative is to stop and let him tag you or run him over.
I guess, yeah. But you are allowed, 3 feet to the left or right. But now the fielder does not have to even make a play on you if you start to go out of the base path and the umpire calls you out.
But again, your best option is just to try to run him over so he can't make a throw to a base and you're out.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's protect the players a little more with that rule. That's what's crazy. He wasn't out of the baseline.
I didn't think he was.
He wasn't. But according to the rules, to protect our players, you got to. The ideal thing, I'm sure some people would like for him to just stop and tag me. I think if I'm a coach or, on any team, I'd say, you know what, if that's the way it's going to be called, just run him over. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt, but if he does, so be it. But that's the rule. You just can't let him have 2 outs.
Rendon loops it foul. Well, I agree with you, and I think we were both in agreement yesterday watching it that he did not go out of the base path. That's why we thought it was just a missed call. And
I think Murphy knew he had the ball in his hand in the glove because
he definitely did.
He spun to throw to second to try to get Tommy, the force out at second.
Now, with all that said, and it would have been different if Tommy Joseph hadn't heard that he was out of the base path. Ryan Zimmerman did make the play at first and then threw to second, and they still tagged Joseph out before he arrived, but still.
So no one on the Nationals thought he was out of the
baseline.
Didn't seem that way. Rendon hits that one well out toward left, and reaching up is Howie Kendrick to make the catch.
Wow.
And one out.
What though, scary thing. Rendon's starting to swing it pretty good, but you know, Howie on this is a tough one here because you're waiting for it to hook, and you see he took a step in, but then he turned the correct way. So when it hooked, he was running in the right direction of the hook and caught up to it. Made a good play, and if his ribs are hurting, that probably hurt a little more. That big stretch.
Bryce Harper is 0 for 2. He is popped out and grounded out. It's always better when he's up when nobody's on base. On the outside corner, it's 0-1.
Been staying away from Harper. If at some point you could come inside and try to lock him up.
Good frame job by Knapp to bring that back 1-2. I love the two-seam fastball from a right-handed pitcher. I just think that it's one of the best pitches that you can have in your repertoire.
And Bryce thinks those pitches are away, so now with 2 strikes he's in protect mode, so he's probably going to look to protect out there. This is, you know, one where you might be able to throw that two-seamer on the, you know, in off the plate and have it come back for. They're going to stay out there again
with a changeup, and it runs too far out. 2-2. That.
I think he's trying to keep it away from him just by the numbers,
which isn't a bad idea in a ballpark like this, considering that is the deepest part is that way. That one's hit well out toward right field. Saunders got turned around, but he's going to be able to recover. And there are 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Our second dollar dog night of the season will take place Wednesday, April 26th against the Miami Marlins. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Was that just toward the end of the bat?
Yeah, it sounded like it. Want that ball outside or even running, and stayed more over the plate and a little more up than Hellickson would have liked it, but again, off the end of the bat. Still took a pretty good play by the right fielder to make a play.
Daniel Murphy out toward right field. So 3 fly ball outs here in the 6th inning for Hellickson. He's accomplished something which he wasn't able to accomplish in his first 2 starts. He's gone 6 innings, and we'll move to the 7th here in D.C. Time now for our Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary, and the Phillies lead it 2-1 as we move to the top half of the 7th inning. As Maikel Franco will lead things off. Phillies scored their 2 runs in the 4th. 2 bunt singles, a double by Odubel Herrera, and a ground out by this guy, Maikel Franco. Gave the Phils the 1-run lead. Each team with 3 hits so far this afternoon. Opposite way and right at Harper. Here is that summary we were talking about coming into the top of the 7th. Hellickson 6 innings, 1 earned run.
Jeremy Hellickson, Tanner Roark both pitching great, pitching quick, throwing strikes, and Tanner Roark got 2 of the 3 hits that the Washington Nationals have, so you wonder why they've only scored 1 run.
Yeah, the rest of the team you see there 1 for 19 today. There's Saunders with 1 out. 88th pitch of the day for Tanner Roark, and it's inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
I think that this is a time when Tanner Roark probably will come inside. Michael Saunders got to try to get out in front of 1-2-0. Changeup. Turn him loose.
Might as well. You figure
Nothing else is working.
You figure he's going to throw him a fastball.
You would hope.
And he does. And I think Saunders thought it might have been a little low. 3-1.
94 miles an hour. That's his best one today, isn't it?
It's right at where he's thrown it maybe 1 or 2 other times. But a great location. He came back with something soft, and it's 3-2.
Changeup.
It was a changeup, wasn't it?
Yes. Now it would surprise me if he doesn't try to get inside. He wants to come in. Changeup, you think?
Well, he threw a 3-1 changeup. Yeah, I think it will be a changeup. Maybe after this fastball.
Hey, well, Lobaton wanted the changeup first pitch, and Roark shook him off.
Fly ball right around the second base bag. And Defoe shading his eyes from the sun. 2 outs. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, John, here we go. What 2 players hold the Nationals Expos franchise record for most consecutive games reaching base with 46?
Well, I remember a couple years ago, Jason Worth. And since you gave me a hint,
did I give you too many hints?
Well, you just said he played before Andre did.
Right.
And the only one I could think of that was a good offensive player for them was Rusty Staub.
Rusty Staub is correct as Tommy Joseph punches this one up the middle. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack.
Is that in Park Jerry?
Yes, Park Jerry. Which, if you talk to any of the players that have played in Park Jerry, they would tell you that it wasn't the best of parks to play in.
Yeah. I've heard that.
A little chilly, and the lights were very difficult to judge fly balls. I do believe it's still standing, though. I believe it's if I recall correctly, a recreational facility.
National treasure.
Foul ball by Knapp over the third base side, and it's 0-1.
And I assume Olympic Stadium's still there.
It is,
for some reason.
Well, they just had two more exhibition games there this year. Pirates against the Blue Jays.
Okay.
As they attempt to get baseball back to Montreal.
So when I was with the Padres, they named me player of the game.
The Expos did?
Yeah. And they always give you a gift.
Yeah.
You know what the gift was they gave me?
Ooh.
Now you got to remember, we got to go through customs.
Could you not bring this through customs?
Impossible.
Cigars.
Chainsaw. Claude, the clubhouse guy, probably had 9,000 chainsaws. I like it.
Couldn't you have shipped it home or something?
Yeah, I knew that back then.
Yeah.
I was already running short on brain cells the way it was, but yeah, chainsaw. Here you go. Take this through customs. See if this goes through. Unbelievable.
1-2, the count to Andrew Knapp. Outside 2-2. If there was eBay back then Claude would have made a lot of money.
Oh.
This guy must be manufacturing chainsaws.
Or they thought he was a lumberjack, and he wore out the other ones quick.
Swing and a miss. So pitch number 101 for Tanner Roark results in a strikeout. That's 3 in the day. Phillies leave 1. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th as we stretch here at Nationals Park. Nationals Park. Every time the Phillies retire, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Jeremy Hellickson's done it 4 times today. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Well, yesterday, Aaron Nola went 5 innings. Vince Velasquez went 5 the game before. Clay Buchholz went 2 1/3. Before that, Jared Eickhoff the last to go 7. Hellickson trying to do that here as he's got 16 innings. There's a lot of 2 earned runs so far.
You think there's someone down in that dugout there after every half inning they reminded him to drink some water or Powerade or whatever?
Hey man, you need a banana?
Yeah.
Zimmerman is 0 for 2. I'm sure they've been doing that for the last couple of days leading into this game. Ground ball foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Good thing too is that he's at 85 pitches, which is pretty good at this point.
Philly great Joe Blanton twirling down in the pen.
Way outside. There's Joe. Pitched well against the Phillies last week.
Saved him.
Probably saved him for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Ground ball, third base. Franco is up with it. And one out here in the 7th. Chris Heisey's coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. It's time for our timeless moment presented by Coors Banquet. We go back to April 15th, 1985, when Mike Schmidt appeared in his 1,975th game, setting a new Phillies record. The previous record, of course, was set by Richie Ashburn back in 1959. Schmidt would end up finishing with 2,404 games played, all of them in a Phillies uniform. So there you go. That's our timeless moment presented by Coors Banquet.
Greatest Philly of all time, Mike Schmidt.
No doubt.
Swing and a miss by Heisey, and it's 0-1.
Why did Murph save that nugget to a weekend with Schmitty?
It's today's date, John. April 15th.
So you fudge the facts a little, Murph. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
That's right. Never let facts get in the way of a good story.
That's
Period.
right.
So great. It's today's day.
I really wasn't paying attention to what you were saying, to be honest with you.
I've gotten used to that. over the first
Oh,
2
it's
weeks.
so great.
It's good to be with you.
Love you, Murph.
1 ball, 1 strike to Heisey. I almost answered you as to why we didn't save that. I was going to say, I don't know. It would have been funny because Mike would have said, I didn't realize that.
Well, see, then if he didn't, he wouldn't know the date either. You could just change the date.
That one's hit well. Now toward left field. Kendrick going back, and it is gone. Heisey's first hit of the year, and it's a solo home run against Jeremy Hellickson. And that ties the game up at 2.
Talk about some of the balls he's been hitting foul, pulling them foul down the third base line, left field line. Boy, that one he kept fair, didn't he? Stayed up just a little bit too much.
Well, we just showed you that Hellickson only allowed 2 earned runs this year. That's the first home run he's allowed.
And then that's one of the Achilles heels. Is sometimes that changeup stays up and he gives up some homers on it. And Heisey just took advantage of that right there.
Fly ball to center field. That ball's carrying pretty well. And Odubel makes the catch. Two away. Heisey, who grew up just a couple hours from Philadelphia. Great story. I mean, a guy who went to the school he went to because he wanted to play baseball and basketball. He just went to a tryout camp on a whim, and a Red Scout saw him and followed him the next couple of years and wound up drafting him. He was not even on anybody's radar when he was out of high school. At all.
Sounds eerily similar to my plight.
Were you going to college to play something else?
Basketball.
That's what he was playing.
And I picked a junior college that would kind of let me do
play
both.
both. That's essentially his story.
Went to a Reds tryout camp. Thought I was going to get drafted by the Reds, and the Padres took me instead.
Well, you know what? You're right. Your story is very similar.
Elmer Gray was the guy that was running these tryout camps.
He's coming.
Long-time scout for the Cincinnati Reds.
Inside, 2-1. If you had not been drafted, would you have gone on to a 4-year school? Just saying.
I would have had to sit out a year. Grades weren't really up to snuff.
All right. After sitting out a year, would you have played at a 4-year school?
I don't know. I don't know what I'd I'd have done. I didn't have a plan B, and that's whenever I go talk to kids, of course nowadays every kid's going to be a major leaguer, be an all-star and an MVP and make billions of dollars. When you bring it back to reality that 1 in a million of you little leaguers will get a chance to play in the big leagues, have a plan B. And I tell them that my side of the story was I didn't have a plan B, so if I didn't make it, I don't know what I'd have done.
Score a lot of points. Did you score a lot of points in basketball?
Passed off.
The ground ball foul, and it remains 3-2.
Yeah, but our junior college team had a bunch of kids who were being scouted, and I was lucky enough to have a good year. Drafted and said goodbye to college.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. And Harper is struck out. I think Harper realized it too. Or excuse me, Lobaton realized it too. So the home run by Heisey ties the game up at 2. We'll head to the 8th. It's a 2-2 ball game. By Nissan. ShopChooseNissan.com. By Jefferson Health. Call 800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu. And by your local Chevrolet dealers. It's a 2-2 game as we move to the top of the 8th inning. Time now for our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Our Hyundai defensive play of the game. Off the bat of Ryan Zimmerman. Hit it one off the end of the bat. Howie, a little bit of a late jump, but great makeup speed for this diving catch to keep Zimmerman off the base. And that is our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
He's had a couple of really good catches today. As Joe Blanton takes over for Tanner Roark, who went 7 innings, allowed 4 hits and 2 runs this afternoon. Facing Freddie Galvis.
What was that swing?
Went down. He squatted down. I don't know. I guess when you're 0 for your last 15, you're trying to do something a little differently.
Look at this swing.
Oh, he didn't go all the way down. It just.
I mean, for a first pitch, that's.
I think he went on that one. Third base umpire signaled he did, but he wasn't even asked about it. The home plate umpire called it a swing.
So far, not a real quality at bat for Freddie.
And it hit him, so he'll go to first base.
Well, there you go. The bat got better. It hurt, but it got better.
Well, here is Brock Stassi, who is going to pinch hit for Hellickson, who went 7 strong innings today. And like Roark, allowed 4 hits and 2 runs. Struck out just 2. and walked just one. Sean Ficazzi's going to come out and check out Freddie Galvis.
Pete got a late start. You know, those trainers keep themselves in great shape. They fly out there. And Pete's like, all right, I'll just wait for him to get back to me and tell me.
I'll tell you, Sean Ficazzi is going to be very excited that you said that he keeps himself in great shape.
Most of the trainers do.
Well, Freddie's going to stay in. Here's Stassi hitting 167.
Hey, interesting to see how Pete plays this. Do you bunt Stassi? Do you think, you know, he might be able to pull a ball into that hole, get a first and third?
Rendon is a little unsure. He's right on the edge of the grass at third.
Blanton threw over to try to hopefully get see if Brock Stassi commits to the bunt early. He didn't show anything.
The ball's in one strike. Must be something to the Nationals. National Expo history here.
Yeah, right there. You see that? That's what I was trying to get across the border. Didn't quite work out the way I'd planned.
0-2. I think it'd be a little easier for you to get it across the border now. Shipping it. You have less of a need for it though now.
I mean, if I'd have got it here, I could have just taken it on the plane.
Oh, 0-2 to Stassi.
How would that look on a train from here to New York with a chainsaw?
You would fit in right perfectly.
Nice chainsaw too. I'm really upset to leave it.
Sammy Solis warming up in the bullpen. Inside, 2-2. Hector Neris now in the pen for the Phils.
Well, let's hope Hector comes in the 8th inning with a lead. Caught a break with Freddie getting hit by the pitch. Of course, you don't know how well he's running.
Runner goes. Pitch is swung on and missed. Throw to second base is not in time. Defoe wants to check on it. So Stassi strikes out, and right now it's a stolen base for Freddie Galvis. Only the 4th of the year for the Phillies.
Got an unbelievable jump. Blanton quick to home, but Freddie had a couple steps. Blanton still had the ball in his hand, and he's safe.
That was a heck of. He got some height on that slide too. Nationals are still thinking about whether they want to challenge it or not. Their 30 seconds is probably up, and they've decided not to. Chris Spire is the bench coach, and he was talking to Dusty Baker about that.
We were wondering if the Phillies were ever going to run.
Cesar waves at a changeup. After Joe's 3 innings the other day, I talked to him for a little bit afterward, and he said it's been 2 years since he's gone 3 innings in a ball game. good thing for him, as he pointed out. He said that his number of pitches weren't that high. That one is hit out toward right field. Going back on it is Harper toward the wall. Gone! 2-run home run for Cesar Hernandez. And the Phillies retake the lead 4-2 here in the top of the 8th inning. Second home run of the year for Cesar. He and Freddie are two of the more unlikely home run leaders on the team.
He had a good pass at the first ball, and that one you saw just leaks right over the center of the plate. And Cesar with a beautiful swing.
Yeah, that makes a winner out of Larry Heil of Zionsville, Pennsylvania, who's won $100 courtesy of the McDonald's home run jackpot.
This is going to be one of the first times we've had Hector Neris come in the game with a lead. Usually it's tied, or we're down 1.
Yeah, this is, in this day and age of baseball, though, this is the perfect time. You know, this is the perfect scenario. Starter goes 7, and then you set up guy, and then hopefully your closer. 1-2. Cesar, Freddie Galvis, Maikel Franco. Those are the leaders in home runs for the Phils. Each with 2.
You know you're struggling offense when your 8th hitter's tied for the lead in home runs.
Outside 2-2.
But this is first game memory I can remember in a while
Yeah,
that they
right.
put strung together hits in the same inning. Although, you know, Freddie got hit by a pitch, but
Second strikeout for Glenn.
the small ball with the 2 bunts. And Double's, I guess he broke his bat on that. The little
The double.
grounder down the third baseline.
Herrera takes strike 1.
He's about due for a home run, isn't he?
He sure is. He is 1 for his last 12. He has been on base now 21 consecutive games dating back to last year, which includes the double today.
That's the way a guy hits, you know, in the high 2s, 300s. You know, even the days you don't get any hits, you still figure out a way to work a walk, maybe 2. So instead of an 0 for 4, you're 0 for 3 or. People tried to manage that pitch.
Sure did.
Tried to umpire that one.
Plate umpire Mike Estabrook.
I'm sure he's not real pleased with getting help in the umpiring department from center fielder.
Pulls that one foul.
I think that would have hit him if he didn't hit it. Welcome to the world of Odubel.
Should make a t-shirt out of that.
Thought bubbles on the t-shirt.
Maybe on the back of a different one for each day. Maikel Franco is on deck.
At some point, I'm sure that there's probably someone in the Nationals dugout telling him to get in the box.
Got a couple old school guys in there too, with Dusty and Chris Spire. Over to first base, Ryan Zimmerman will gobble up. Phillies, though, get a couple runs on the 2-run home run by Cesar Hernandez as they retake the lead. We got a hold of this one, headed out toward right field. Scores Freddie Galvis. It's 4-2 Phillies as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Tonight right here on CSN, Brock Stassi tells Greg Murphy about his unlikely journey to the majors, including a pit stop as a substitute teacher. Watch Phillies Clubhouse tonight at 10 on CSN. Murph, a substitute teacher, huh?
Yeah, you know, he had a couple of odd jobs as he was, you know, making his way through the minor leagues and trying to make a little extra money along the way. It's a great story, and you know, I got a chance to sit down with Brock. It's a good conversation, the clubhouse conversation this week. So folks who want to learn a little bit about Brock Stassi should tune in.
Here's Hector Neris, who will come on the pitch. Adam Eaton will be the hitter to pinch hit for the pitcher spot. I guess you kind of forget that some of these guys didn't make a whole lot of money when they were drafted, so they had to have these odd jobs while they're in the minor leagues, making between $1,200 and $1,600 a month when they first start out. 0-2.
Worked in a department store a couple off seasons before I started going to winter ball for 5 years.
You went to winter ball for 5 years?
Yeah. Loved it.
What did you sell in the department store?
Nothing. I stocked the shelves after hours. Fit right into my schedule. I'd get there at like midnight, stay there till 6 in the morning. And if it was decent, I'd go play golf and then take a nap and do it again.
I would think that winter ball probably paid a little bit more.
A lot more.
I didn't realize you went to winter ball for that many years.
Yeah. I just always thought that because I wasn't a high draft pick and they had no money invested in me, that when spring training started, I had to be locked in from the start. I'll go to winter ball. You know, you go through the postseason in winter ball, and then you have probably a week or so off before spring training starts. And
who pitch high 2-2.
That quick pitched him right there. You see that?
Yeah, he does like to mix that in every once in a while. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 1 for Hector Neris. 1 out here in the 8th inning.
There's no question his stuff is there to be a back end of the bullpen guy. Eventually you would think that he could be a closer for this team. Look at how that ball drops. You got 2 strikes, you're up there trying to protect, and that thing looks like a fastball right down the middle, and next thing you know it's down at your ankles.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Defoe. Defoe is 0 for 3 today. A ground out to second twice, and then a strikeout looking. Fly ball off the third base side. Franco on the run. So is Galvis, and Franco made the catch.
I think Freddie got it.
Galvis made the catch. Oh man!
Wow.
You want to talk about concentration on both minds.
We might have to get another defensive play of the game.
Really?
That was incredible.
Well, that was not an easy play for either one of them.
You have to think that at some point he did lose sight of the ball because he had to turn his head because he thought McCall was going to run him over.
Wow. I think the best part was the reaction of both. This is basically the angle we had. Boy, that was a great catch.
Except a mile high.
Hector liked it.
Is that another one of those where Franco acts like he's going to catch it, but Freddie gets it?
Well, the other ones I don't buy. That one I must have bought better. There's a Tapper foul, and it's 0-1. That's one of those, I guess you sit there and wait to see who actually pulls it out of the glove before you say who made the grab.
That Freddie slid so hard his shoe came untied.
There's the changeup again.
See a quick pitch here. He looked like he's ready to go.
Runs it outside to Rendon.
After a while they're going to figure that out, that when he's bent over like that he's going to go quick. Now watch when he takes a sign when he wants to go normal, he's straight up.
Ground ball to shortstop. Galvis, this is a much easier play than the catch. The side is retired. Nothing across for the Nationals, and some fantastic defense today by the Phils. We'll head to the 9th. It'll be Mother's Day, Mother's Appreciation Day, sponsored by StubHub, a free ladies crossbody tote bag for women 15 and older. Go to Phillies.com for more information. Well, we move to the top of the 9th inning, and the Phillies enjoying a 4-2 lead over the Nationals. Matt Albers will be the new pitcher for the Nats. 4 runs on 5 hits for the Phils, 2 runs on 4 hits. As Adam Eaton takes over in center field, he was on as a pinch hitter for the pitcher. So Taylor's day is done out in the outfield. Albers has pitched in 1 game so far.
Kind of different, huh? Bring Eaton into center field.
Yeah, I thought this would be a day where they would let him pinch hit, but then just kind of.
I'm just talking about the lineup. I mean, you know, you got 3, 4, 5, 6. He's the 5th hitter, so you're going to have to pinch hit for him. Now, I guess maybe that means Wieters
or Lind. I don't know. That's a good point. They have Worth also available. Maikel Franco leads it off. He's 0 for 3. And a pitch that's called a strike, and it's 0-1.
Franco was too enamored with that call.
Or that one.
Looked like a good pitch. You see the first pitch right at the bottom of the strike zone. The second pitch almost covered it up completely.
Breaking ball. Another day game tomorrow will be on the air at 1:30 on CSN. The big Sunday show. We'll get everything started at 1 o'clock. Well, the Phillies have an off day on Monday, and then they play the Mets beginning on Tuesday.
The game's at what time?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
1:35, John.
We're on at 1?
No, the big Sunday show's on at 1. We're on at 1:30.
So Murph's on at 1.
I don't think Murph has any responsibilities with the big Sunday show tomorrow. Murph, any responsibilities tomorrow?
Not that I'm aware of, but you never know. I'll be here early if they need me.
Sad use of his abundant talents.
Breaking ball low, 3-2.
If you said that with a different inflection, that would have been really nice.
You sense some sarcasm there?
Yeah.
And if I didn't laugh after it was over. We'll be serious next time, Murph.
Thanks, bud.
Foul ball as Franco stays alive. Back toward the middle. Murphy backhands, throws, and in time. That is a fantastic play for a guy who in reality is, when he was with the Mets, was criticized a lot for his defense.
Yeah, they tried to throw him over at first base, and that's amazing how much better your defense gets when you can hit. Probably hasn't gotten much better, but he can hit better, so we'll just keep him out there. But that's a great play by Murphy.
I think if he had stayed with the Mets, he would have been over at first base.
That might have been good. We wouldn't have had to face Lucas Duda the last series and watch him hit those homers.
I think the Marlins probably feel the same way we feel. He had a home run the other day against Miami. Saunders rips it foul, and it's 0-1.
I mean, they came in not swinging the bats well as a team, but besides Reyes, we got a lot of them hot, didn't we?
Yeah, in fact, Cespedes continued to hit. First game in Miami.
Second game he was out with flu-like symptoms or something.
0-2.
Could have been because getting around the bases a little slower than, you know, hitting a single, scoring on a double. Seemed to trot a lot against us.
Off the hands, out towards center field, and that's going to drop for a base hit for Saunders. So he has 3 hits now in the series. Coming up after the ball game, Marshall Harris, Ricky Bottalico will host Phillies postgame live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. They'll have highlights of this game, including all the good defensive plays the Phillies have made. Plus, they'll chat about Cesar Hernandez and his power, Jeremy Hellickson, the fact he went 7 today. A lot of good things to talk about. Of course, John will be on the post game as well. Pitch low, and it's 1-0 to Tommy Joseph, who is 1 for 3 in this game.
With Harper, Murphy, Zimmerman coming up, you wouldn't mind having a little insurance here, would you?
2 runs is certainly not an insurmountable lead. It's off the foot. Tommy Joseph. And a looper down the left field line. That's going to hook foul.
I'm surprised that didn't break his back. I never like putting anything on the handle of my bat. Now they have that
lizard
skin that they wrap on now, and that's what Tommy has on his. But like if you have tape or something like that, your bat can break in the handle, like crack in the handle, and you won't see it because it's hidden underneath that stuff.
There's the lizard skin right there that Andrew Knapp has on his bat. Over to third base, Rendon makes a nice play. They get 1. And Murphy had a little trouble getting it out of his glove, but still was able to throw over to first. A 5-4-3 double play. And that ends the top of the 9th inning. Joaquin Benoit will be coming on and trying to protect a 2-run lead here in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, Tommy Joseph hits that ball. Rendon, great short hop, great feed to Murphy, and Murphy with Saunders bearing down on him. Made a nice throw to Ryan Zimmerman. Watch Saunders right there, just get into his legs, and a little pick by Zimmerman. A great play all along.
State Farm here to help life go right. This long conversation by Michael Saunders and the second base umpire, Jerry Lane, who's the crew chief, after the play had finished up, and you saw Saunders was just off to the right of the second base bag, and although it doesn't matter because they were able to record the double play, would he have been out anyway? Would Tommy Joseph have been out anyway? It looked like there was a discussion about that.
Yeah, it looked like Murphy said something to Saunders. I don't know if it was, you know, complimentary, good hard slide, because kind of took him out, but you saw Saunders, once he slid past the base, he tried to reach back to make sure his hand could touch the base. I think that's one of the criteria now.
Here's Joaquin Benoit trying to finish things off for the Phils and give them a victory to even up this series. He'll face Bryce Harper to start things off. It'll be Harper, Daniel Murphy, and then Ryan Zimmerman. And the Nationals have Wieters, Lind, and Worth. They also have Grant Green, who probably wouldn't be the first choice off the bench. Harper 0 for 3 today. Nationals with 4 hits so far. Benoit delivers high, 1-0. Jackie Robinson spikes, worn by Bryce Harper on this Jackie Robinson day. Pretty nice touch.
Very nice. And Freddie had something on his too.
1 ball, 1 strike.
What he hasn't been happy with, Bryce, is that outside corner. By Benoit and got it up high enough that Bryce couldn't get to it. What you have to do now. Head in the count. Bryce hasn't liked the outside corner called on him pretty much the entire game. Jeremy Hellickson saw that one right there. 2 strikes off the plate, a little bit away, but he has to try to fight it off. I wonder if you can take a shot 1 and 2 to try to come in on him.
Bounced it 2-2. Ground ball right toward Freddie Galvis. Well, you're right about the outside part of the plate. If we strung all of his at-bats together today, even the fly ball toward the warning track in his last at-bat, the outside part of the plate would be the dominant location against him today.
Yeah, and give the Phillies pitchers credit. They're executing out there, too. I mean, that one was just a pitch that broke down. Started on the outside and broke down, and you're in protect mode, you can't take that pitch. And I don't care how good a hitter you are. Once you get into that protect mode, you make a good pitch like that that fools you. You're going to put it in play probably somewhere, not somewhere very hard.
Daniel Murphy, the hitter, he's 0 for 3 today. 1-1. Off-speed pitch on the outside corner.
You got to go after him right here.
You don't want to put a base runner on and bring the tying run to the plate.
It's like Schmidt said, you know, sometimes when you hit a home run to get you within run one in the ninth, it's more of a rally killer than a rally starter.
Fly ball center field. Odubel Herrera, who took a step back, is in the right spot. He challenged him for the second out. And now Ryan Zimmerman is the last man standing for the Nationals.
You know, the veteran that Benoit is, he understood, you know, look, he can just as easily hit one in a gap as he can pop it up, and he got the pop up.
Ryan Zimmerman is also 0 for 3 today. The outside corner. It's been a wide zone toward the outer half of the plate for both righties and lefties, but it's been consistently a wide zone for righties and lefties.
And for both teams.
For both teams. Benoit, who had one save last year, he saved 24 in 2013 for the Tigers. That one is lifted back at first base. Tommy Joseph on the run. So is Cesar. Cesar's got it. And the ball game is over. The Phillies end their 4-game losing streak as Joaquin Benoit picks up his first save in a Phil's uniform. And they win it today by a final score efficiently 4-2. Well, this turned out to be a good day all the way around for the Phillies. Not that they managed a boatload of hits, but they managed enough. But they got some very good pitching. 7 innings from Hellickson, 2 earned runs, a scoreless 8th by Hector Neris, a scoreless 9th by Benoit, and fueled by Cesar Hernandez's 2-run home run. And that is our WB Mason delivery of the game off the bat of Cesar Hernandez.
Yeah, 8th inning tie ball game after Freddie Galvis got hit by a pitch. Cesar gets a fastball.